to take a breath and to allow yourself to be fully present. If we close our eyes for a moment, it's just a way to step away from the outer world and tune in to that rich, juicy, yummy, powerful inner world. That heart of hearts where we have our connection with Spirit, God, Universe, Love. It's really the well. So we just take a few moments to settle in with a short guided meditation. And I invite you to hear these words by the founder of our teaching, Dr. Ernest Holmes, from this month's book, Love and Law. The law implanted within mind by an all-wise, all-intelligent creator is that you need nothing but yourself and an all-wise, all-powerful creator to produce anything. The law implanted within mind by an all-wise, all-intelligent creator is that you need nothing but yourself and an all-wise, all-powerful creator to produce anything. And just as far as you believe your success and all possibilities of life depend upon any condition or person, past, present, or future, you are creating chaos. And that because of your own false thought. That's the absolute truth. You have this infinite mental principle within you. So take a moment to remember that, because it's not something that you get or gain or buy or earn. It's something that already is, we just forget. So today let's just remember that this infinite principle of life is within us. We're already using it. And so we might as well use it consciously and for good. So breathe that in. Notice where that lives in you. Welcome the space inside of you that is that. And then slowly and gently bring your attention back. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Good morning.
Good morning.
On this beautiful rainy day. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. I'm Frankie Timmers, the spiritual director here. And we have Kim Yarson with us, and her son Joey is playing. I'm so excited because they're part of the summer concert series that you're going to hear more about later. They'll be performing for us, so that's going to be really fun. And Theo Tilton is assisting me today as the assistant practitioner. So I know this. I know that there's a power for good in the universe that is greater than you are. It's within you. You're already using it. But we can always use it with more conscious awareness and more powerfully to be the life that the universe created us to be. What that means to me is that we are here to make a contribution to the direction of evolution, the direction of what's happening in the world. And so that means sometimes we have to clear what's in the way. That's why we do spiritual practices and take classes and things like that. And then we just give it full on out. And so we're here to support you with that, regardless of your conditions, regardless of what your life is about, has been about, regardless of who you are. And so we support that completely. I want you to know something, and I'm going to read it first. That this last Friday night and Saturday, all day yesterday, our leadership council was here at the center doing their annual leadership planning retreat. And we did some great work together. We have a beautiful leadership council. And I want to introduce them. So I want you to hold your applause until they're all standing, okay? So Sherry Guidos is our chairperson. She must be sleeping in. Good for her. Eileen Gantz is the vice chair. Vern Miller, who's in the sound booth, yay, double duty. He's the treasurer, our new treasurer. Philomena Casey is our secretary. And then we have Vicki Roach, Gail Belluardo, Karen Fiore, and myself. So now you can clap. Yes. And so they do a lot of work, and I want you, if you have any gift or talent or any desire even to come in here an hour a week to serve, like we need a light bulb change, it's a little weeding, little things like that. There's always something for somebody to serve in some way, and then you'll grow into something that's more about your talents, your gift, and your purpose, and we're here to support you with that. But not next Sunday, but after that, on the 29th, and then through August, we're going to be sharing our goals with you. We do one goal each week, and our leadership council members will share those goals. And you're going to be invited to be a part of that. And on your calendar, you want to put October 14th, because that Sunday we're doing a potluck, and then we're going to have a town hall meeting, which means everybody's invited to be part of this beautiful community. What I want to read to you is a little quote by Brother David Steindl-Rast. He says, "There is not room in the same heart for both gratefulness and alienation." There's not room in the same heart for both gratefulness and alienation. When you're grateful, you know that you belong to a network of give and take. And you say yes to that belonging. This yes is the essence of love. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it all about service? The other thing I want to do right now, let's treat first, and then we're going to have you introduce you to somebody special. So, treatment is our word for affirmative prayer, so I invite you to hear these words as your own. So right here, right now, as I withdraw my attention from the outer world, I bring my attention to my heart of hearts, which is not my physical heart, but it's my essence. It's my true nature. It's my essential beingness. It's why I came into this world. It's what I am here to live, express, experience, discover, uncover. It's the purest part of myself. It's the purest aspect of my story. It's who I am becoming as a spiritual being, as a soul. And so I bring my attention to that, and I realize that's the part of me that's the most authentic. It's the part of me that's fully formed. It's the part of me that already has everything to live life fully. And so I realize that my life, my outer life, is perfectly conducive to my awakening to this purity, to this true part of my nature, to my soul. And so today I am willing to embrace it. That's all that's asked of me, to be willing. I'm willing to embrace it. I'm willing to embrace all of it. I'm willing to make it work for me. I'm willing to experience gratitude. I'm willing to stand in joy. I'm willing to stand on holy ground, regardless of what's going on in life or in my life. And so I am blessed because it means that I'm actually spiritually maturing. It means that I stand in the truth of my being and I give it life. And that's why I am a human being. That's why I have incarnated. So today, I let everything be about remembering and inspiration and support and guidance and healing. And so, how could I not be grateful for that? I'm so grateful for every opportunity the universe is giving me to full on out express myself and my unique nature. And so it is. So the next thing I want to do is I want you to meet someone who's doing amazing work in our greater community. Many of you have heard of Wind of the Spirit because we have given to them in the past. And some of you have gone to some of their programs, and most of you know that when you give to the center, we give a portion of that. It's kind of like tithing, that we call it conscious giving. And so every month we give $1,000 away to an organization that's doing good work. And if it's a local community, we invite them to come here and to receive that check publicly. So Teresa Marquila, come on up, Teresa. Let's have Theo's microphone. Let's give her a warm welcome. Teresa of Wind of the Spirit gets a check for Wind of the Spirit for $1,000. So we would like for you to share a little bit about what Wind of the Spirit does, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So Wind of the Spirit, for those who don't know, is an immigrant resource center. We advocate on behalf of immigrants within the community on levels of government. We have lawyers that will help immigrants directly, low cost or pro bono. We are community building. It's a faith-based organization that's open to immigrants and non-immigrants and people of all or no faiths who are moved by the spirit of hospitality. We do public education and community building events with different cultures, come and share their stories, their cultures, their food. We do public education events on what the government is doing, the legislations that need to be changed, various campaigns that we're working on. And everybody is welcome to come in. We're a family as well as an organization, and everyone is welcome. We're always looking for more volunteers to help with various things. And yeah, there's a lot of talk in the news today about immigration. As you know, it's a real hot button topic right now and very divisive, but it's actually the fight has been going on for a very long time, pretty much throughout the entire history of this country. Mm-hmm. And Wind of the Spirit has been fighting for about 20 years now. So it's not a new issue, it's an ongoing issue, but more attention is being raised and we need more help now more than ever. So I really, really appreciate this. Thank you everyone so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. So if this is something that you feel called to, because I know it's easy to feel sad and heartbroken about what's happening in our country. It's easy to complain about it, but it's really about action. So whether it's volunteering or being in service, holding the higher vision, doing treatment work, we can all do our part. And this is just one small contribution that we can support as a community. And I look forward to more connection. And Karen's going to make that happen, right, Karen? Yes, I am, she says. Yes, I am. All right. So I have a couple of things to say this morning. So last week was my first Sunday back after a 1-month sabbatical. And those of you who are here, you know what I shared. Those of you who watched us on YouTube, you know what I shared. And I highly recommend that you subscribe to YouTube. It's great because every week, or mostly every week, we post our talks. Andrew does a great job. And those of you that weren't here and didn't hear me on YouTube might be a little surprised because I shared some significant news. I shared that I was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 months ago, and that I'm doing fine. So the whole idea last week was notice what you notice when you hear the news and do your own inner healing work. Don't project it onto me, and support me with prayer. And if you're not sure how to do that or you want to support in any other way, ask. But mostly what I want to say is that I am so grateful. I am so grateful. And gratitude to me is not selective. It's no longer I'm grateful for this but not for that. I don't think that way anymore. It's part of my spiritual journey. I'm grateful for all of life. But I'm mostly grateful for your support, because last week was an amazing Sunday. If you were here, it was an amazingly powerful Sunday, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you and your love and your support. I'm again incredibly grateful for my family, my friends, my Norman. Every step of the way has been filled with miracles and magic, and everything is early stage and treatable, and so I'm navigating my way through that, which is a whole interesting learning curve I would never thought I would have or hoped to have. But it's a learning experience, right? So I'm going to talk more about when a challenge hits the fan and on how we deal with that. But what I want to say is that without that 1 month sabbatical, that talk could not have happened. That grace could not have come through me. So it's because of you that I was able to have that 1 month sabbatical, which happens every 5 years. So, hey, I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. So, but listen to the talk, because it was a really good one. And I don't always say that. So, I have this calendar that I totally had intended to bring today. And today, the month of July, and it's the art by Kelly Ray Roberts. This month, the page says, embrace the imperfections, the chaos, and the holy mess of your beautiful life. I love that so much because I'm always about embracing yourself, embracing your life, embracing all aspects of your being and making it work for you. Because as long as you're cursing any of it, guess where it's going to stay? Right where you are. And it can intensify. But when we embrace it and we see it part of the beauty and the uniqueness of life itself, and we make it work for us, it becomes a gift and a blessing. Embrace the imperfections, the chaos, the holy mess of your beautiful life. It went out with the email that we send, the weekly email. So life is messy. Would you agree?
Yes.
Life is messy. We create all kinds of messes. Everybody has a mess or two. And it just, when we focus on the mess and we judge it, then they become burdens. They become suffering. And I think we're all pretty familiar with what that feels like or what that looks like. But when we're on a spiritual path, we have a responsibility to see the beauty in the messes, to see the perfections in the imperfections, to see the gifts in the challenges, to see the healing opportunities in the trauma, to see what wants to be lived and expressed and given in the drama of life, whatever that may be. And so that we do when we are on the spiritual path. That's what we do when we're spiritually mature. And so what we tend to do, or what a lot of people tend to do, and nobody here, but I'm sure you all know at least one person, is where they curse the challenges, or they wish them away, or they pray them away, and when they don't go away, they say, God must be punishing me, or my prayers are not being answered. Or we just go, la, 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 it's not happening, and we deny them. So you can only imagine, if there is a law of cause and effect, which there is and we believe in, how we then create a whole different kind of life when we're saying, bring it on. I got this. I got the tools, I got the mind, I got the heart, I got the body, I got the wisdom. I will take this on and use it as a way to grow and to heal and to expand my consciousness. And so what I know to be true for myself is that my messes are holy messes, and they reflect my holiness, or they bring out my holiness. And I know that's true for you too. Your messes are holy messes, and they're calling out your holiness. So it's about renewal and rebirth and emergency, not with a Y, but with an E. When we have challenges in life, it's like the universe's way of calling our attention and saying, it's time to fly out of the nest. It's time for you to live differently. It's time for you to heal. It's time for you to leave this relationship or this job. It's time to figure out how not to see yourself as a victim. And those experiences can be really intense, right? We sometimes have these intense experiences and we kind of go, why? What's happening? Well, it's because you're outgrowing yourself. And you're either going to grow or you're just going to die or at minimum be miserable. And so there's this wonderful story. My blurb was very different because it had some different language in it. It had the S-H-I-T word in it. And Connie said, "You need to change that." I don't swear, but that word to me is not a swearing word. That's just a great word. Coming back to it, so get ready if this offends you. So I have a story to tell you. Many of you know this story because it's been around so long. I mean, I remember the story from 30 years ago, but there's this new monk that arrives at a monastery, and his job is to copy the old texts by hand. I think David even told me that story once. He noticed that they were copying copies instead of copying the original book. So the new monk says to the head monk, "You know, I think there might be some errors in those books. Because we've been copying from copies for centuries." And the head monk says, "You know, you make a good point. Nothing like a new person coming in the mix, right?" So he decides to go, the old monk, the abbot, what do you call that guy? The abbot goes down into the catacombs of the monastery, and he goes to where the original books are. And hours later, he hasn't come up. And the younger monks and the other monks think, "What's going on?" So they go check, and they hear him sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And they ask him, "What's wrong?" And he said, "The word is celebrate, not celibate." I love that story. So when you say I have a lot of shit going on in my life, it's not shit, it's shift. Copy? When you have a mess going on, or a trouble, or a challenges, and some of you know what I'm talking about because I've known you for 10, 20, 25 years, and you have the same problems that you had when you first came here. Right? Some of us do. I have similar problems, but they may have evolved and changed, and I might have healed some, and sometimes it comes back, right? So that means that when that shit comes up, it's the universe saying it's time for a shift. It's time for you to think about it in a different way. Look at it in a different way. Behave a different way. Let go. Surrender. Forgive. Look at it in a new way. Maybe it's time for a reconciliation. And those of you who are in recovery, you know this. You know this well. And so all of us have something going on, right? Whether it might be a health crisis or a financial crisis or a challenge with work or a challenge with relationships, or maybe it's more about internal, you know, where we struggle not being good enough, or we always complain about there isn't enough, and then there's about a list of 10 things. Or maybe it's about not feeling loved, appreciated, cherished. Maybe it's about self-esteem. Maybe it's about not feeling like you're living your life the way you want to live it. There's a whole slew of things, but you know, right? We all have one or two things. And so it's about really paying attention to that, because I'm going to say something really important. It came to me. I love my commute now. It went from 5 minutes to 40, and I learned it's a great time for me to come up with ideas. I still need to find a different way to record it instead of writing it down. I do it carefully, but sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. So, listen to this. The way you can measure how spiritual you are is how you behave when you have a problem. When you have an issue with another person. Might it be political, or family, friends, neighbors? Because we like to, when we're on a spiritual path, we like to think we're spiritual beings, right? We're on a spiritual path, we do our spiritual practices, and we might even say, oh, she's pretty spiritual, and Theo's really spiritual. No, the way you can tell how spiritual Theo is is when he's having a fight with someone, or when he's upset, or when he's angry at someone, or when his job is in jeopardy. Right? We can tell how spirituality takes action when you get a diagnosis of breast cancer, or heart issues, or a relationship ending, or someone cheating, or someone dying. Those are the times when you know how spiritual you really are, how you practice, how you embody the practices, how you live those things. The key is that you don't use it as a whip, because that's too easy, right? I know it's easy for me. But to do it and with love. To infuse that experience with love. And to know that none of us are here to do spirituality so we can get all our ducks in a row and everything good and peaceful and abundant and lovely, and then we live. It doesn't work that way, but there's a part of us, our ego mind, that thinks that way. Once I become a minister, once I become a practitioner, once I overcome this challenge with lack, once I am healthy, once I have the perfect right relationships, there's some of you in here, once I have that perfect right job, then everything's going to be great. Then I can really be spiritual. Right? And it's really the other way around, is that the way we can measure our spirituality is how we are when life gets messy. And that requires that we build a strong foundation, and we work on building that strong foundation all the time. That's why you take classes. That's why you treat or pray every day. That's why you meditate. That's why you study. That's why you look at life's challenges as an opportunity to grow and not a punishment. So how do we deal with that? Well, we notice what we notice, we feel what we feel, we look at that, we own it as our own experience due to our own belief system, and then we think about, well, which direction do I want to grow into? What kind of person do you want to be when you get annoyed watching the news? What person do you want to be when you have an argument with a loved one? What kind of person do you want to be when you have a health diagnosis or losing a job or a financial challenge or a family issue? How do you want to be? And then you work on that. You do your spiritual work. You do your practices. You ask for forgiveness. Because we're all a work in progress. It's about radical transformation. Is there anyone here that says, we don't need change in the world? We don't really need a transformation with what's happening on our planet. No, we need super duper, hyper radical transformation, right? But it's not going to happen by you saying, we need that. You go do it. No, it happens when we transform, when we radically transform, when we become that person that can stand and hold that vision and be a part of creating it. You may not know how, but that's not a reason to not do anything. You just keep listening. Somebody asked me the other day, I haven't been hearing God. I said, well, then you haven't been listening. You just need to listen more and listen longer, whatever the God of your heart is. And sometimes that happens to me too. Sometimes I meditate for days and I don't feel that connection. That's not a reason to give up. That's a reason to go deeper and to trust that that is there. So, I believe that we live at a time where we can't afford to mess around. We can't afford to be lazy. We can't afford to have excuses. Because there's a reason why you and I are alive today and not 100 years ago. Today and not 50 years from now. There's a reason why you and I are alive today. We are part of creating the problem, as much as you might not want to hear that, and we are part of the solution. Who you are as a spiritual being and how you live that is significant and is important. So, I always say, I take this teaching seriously, but I take myself lightly. And I want to extend that to you, because I know we can get too anxious We can take it too seriously. We can get too heavy, right? Oh, I gotta go meditate. Oh, I don't have time. I'd rather go for ice cream, right? So just lighten up about it and watch yourself and go, silly girl, go sit your butt down on that chair. I've been using my chair so much that I have a little back jack that's on the floor with the, you know, the metal and then the fabric over it. I sat down, the whole thing ripped to shreds. So, love Amazon because they ordered a new one next day. So, there is one very simple way, because I know some of you are sitting here going, I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to begin. I have way too much to transform. By the way, we all do. I'm going to give you one very simple practice. Love. Go home. Love. Love yourself unconditionally. Love others unconditionally. Love life, all of it, messes and all. Be an instrument of love, and not just when it's easy, but when it's difficult. Because that's your growing edge. That's where radical transformation happens. Not just in and for you, but for the world. And that's your responsibility. Instead of bitching about it, or cursing it, or complaining about it, right? It's such a small thing, and it seems so difficult. And sometimes it's the last thing we think of, because the ego loves to make it complicated, because then it has an excuse not to do it. So we love and we use the law. This is our book this month. I know you're all reading this because we run out of them every Sunday in the bookstore. Hint, hint, Love and Law, one of the great books by Ernest Holmes. We picked 12 for the year. It's hard for me to keep up, but I'm trying. So this book, Love and Law, talks about love, the divine givingness, and law is how it is expressed. It's true for us, it's true globally, it's universally, but it's true for us. So we love, and then we back it up with the law. Because you don't have to heal yourself. God doesn't heal you. That's the job of the law. And the law is the way God works. The law is the way your mind works. So you just speak it into being and then act accordingly. You know it and live from that. So you have to know perfect health. You have to know perfect abundance. You have to know perfect love for yourself. And really move through the things that are in the way. Some we can treat away, but some of them we have to work on them a little bit, like an old car that's died. It takes a little work. And so it's knowing how to use your mind. That's law. It's knowing that you create your own reality and that maybe you can't change it, but you can sure as heck look at it in a different way so that you can grow and heal. And so it's about being proud of yourself. And I'm not talking about the ego pride. It means that in your bones you feel proud of who you are in the world. You feel proud of how you show up. You feel proud of how you participate in community. You feel proud of who you are in your family, even though they might not like you or don't want to be around you. You feel proud of how you take care of your body temple. You feel proud of how you share your wisdom, your creativity, your gifts, your talents, your generosity. I learned this from a young woman, and I forget her name right now, Caitlin something, found her on Facebook. It's a woman who's been dying for 17 years because she has some disease, I forget what it is. And she's so alive. I'll have to share it with everybody. She's so alive, and she says, I just want to be proud of who I am and what I am, regardless of my condition. And I'm so proud. And her heart is so full and so overflowing. So that means that we have to feel that sense of pride from deep within, not just because you showed up today, not just because you gave your spouse or partner or friend a hug, but in the depth of you, how people feel without you even speaking or doing anything, right? And we can all tweak that. So it's something from the center out, from your own knowing out. So I want to close with a poem by the beautiful Emmett Fox. So I want you to close your eyes though and take in these words. The poem is called Love. There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer. No disease that enough love will not heal. No door that enough love will not open. No gulf that enough love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. No sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you would be the happiest and most powerful person in the world. And so it is.
It's always a challenge to write to your sermon, but this one was pretty easy. You may have stumbled along a rocky road. You may have felt pain to the depths of your soul, but you are never, you're never alone. We all fall sometimes, but you gotta let go. Messed up, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful imperfect life. Sunshine, and we might have rain, but when the two are together, a flower gives way. Every heart that's been broken will find love again. It's not a matter of how, just a matter of a when. So everybody, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful imperfect life. I want you to sing along. You are holy, holy, just let go of fear. You are holy, holy, 'cause God put you here. So embrace your beautiful life. It may be messed up, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this sacred ride and embrace your beautiful imperfect life. We'll do that again. You ready? Sing with me. Embrace your beautiful life. It may be messed up, but it's blessed up, 'cause God is good all the time. Hold tight on this perfect ride and embrace your beautiful imperfect life. everybody. That was awesome. Embrace your beautiful, beautiful, imperfect life.
Okay, let's meditate. Let's all close our eyes and embrace. Let's reflect. On everything that we've heard here today. Everything from the holiness to the shift to embracing the perfect. Let's go back into the past briefly and find a holiness that once was. And how being one with Spirit unfolded perfectly. You are whole and complete. Repeat after me, silently. Spirit is truth. I declare my oneness. The law listens. And I am free. My body and my experience is the result of my wholeness and completeness. I embrace the holiness of my past, present, and future. I surrender to amazing grace. And now let's open our eyes and take a stand. Now we're gonna, if you choose, we're going to walk around and greet each other in one particular way. You don't have to do it if you do not want to. And greet each other with, I am amazing grace. And do this with 3 people. Thank you.
It's gone. Oh, there it is. So a long time ago, Frankie gave me a little piece of paper that says life is amazing, but it's awful. So that's kind of... So you may laugh a little bit for this song, but it's really serious to me. I'm very serious about this. Life is amazing, but then it's awful, and then it's amazing again. Life is crazy, then it's normal. What a beautiful mess we're all in. Breathe in the amazing, hold tight through the awful. Relax and exhale all your worries, 'cause every lesson's a lesson worth learning. Life is amazing, then it's awful, then it's amazing again. Life is crazy, then it's normal. What a beautiful mess we're all in. Some days it's your mother, other days it's the bad weather. Some days you feel all warm and fuzzy. Some days you're annoyed by a feather. Life's amazing, then it's awful, then it's amazing again. Life is crazy, then it's awesome. What a beautiful mess we're all in. It's a heartbreaking, soul-healing, downtrodden up feeling, breathtaking hell of a ride. Enjoy all the blessings, the curses, the messes in this wild and wonderful life. Life is amazing, then it's awful, then it's amazing again. Life is crazy, then it's normal. What a beautiful mess we're all in. Life is amazing, then it's awful, and then it's amazing again. We sound schizophrenic, don't we? Life is crazy, then it's awesome. What a beautiful mess we're all in, but life is truly amazing.
So what we're going to do is close now with a spiritual mind treatment, a healing treatment. So I want you to just close your eyes and just think for a moment about one mess that you're ready to completely be free of. Just one thing in your life, one challenge that you just are ready to be free of. And be willing to let it go. Willing to just let it go. So what I know is that we live in an infinite universe. We live in a spiritual universe. And everything is always in perfect, right, divine order. We know this when we pay attention to the seasons. They're never out of sync. It's always summer, fall, winter, spring. The tides come in and they go out by utter predictability. The moon rises and sets, the sun rises and sets. It's that same divine right action, that same universal law that beats our heart and moves our lungs without having to think about it most of the time. And it is that same universal law that heals us. And we know that healing means wholeness revealed. It's not about the condition being perfect, it's about the knowing that is in alignment with the truth. So right here, right now, we surrender to the truth of divine right action in and around us. It's not possible that it happens for everybody else except maybe Jane Doe or Jack Jones. It happens for everybody. And so today we surrender to this divine activity that is happening in and around us, and we surrender that which has been a burden to it, and we let it take care of it. We let the law take care of it. We surrender it, we let it go, we release it, and we allow ourselves to experience a greater sense of freedom. The law recycles it and brings it back to us. as more good, more things to be grateful for, more blessings, more joy, more health, more abundance, more creativity, more love, more peace, more harmony, because we are conscious instruments of divine law moving through us and trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly and we are just navigating through life with this awareness, and it changes everything in our lives. We are ready for this because we have a job to do, we have a purpose, we have joy to be experienced, and happiness to be experienced, and peace to bring to the world, and love to share, and all the goodies that we know of as people on the spiritual path to be actually experienced right here, right now. So we celebrate this simply by being in love and in gratitude for all that life brings. And together we claim it by saying in closing, and so it is. Have a great day, everybody, and a great week. Love you.